Hi friends, this is Sumit from Madira Diaries, and in today's episode we discuss, does age of a whiskey, in this case a Scotch, matter? Do you have to pay that extra premium for that extra age of Scotch? And for testing this, we are using the world's most appreciated and most complex whiskey, the Lagavulin single malt Scotch from the Isla region. Named after the town it's made in, Lagavulin, it's supposed to be the oldest distillery and one that folks say is not for beginners. Because of its extra peatiness, smokiness, you need to acquire a taste for it. Once you acquire the taste, you'll be able to explore this whiskey according to the whiskey gurus, not me. I've had Lefroy, which they say was the inspiration, or maybe Lagavulin copied their distillation techniques. At least that's the allegations in some of the history books. So let's discuss the Lagavulin 9 versus 16. This Lagavulin 9 is a special edition bottle for the Game of Thrones fans out there. Diageo and HBO collaborated. This is a roaring lion from the house of, you guess it right, from Lannister. And Lagavulin doesn't have a regular 9-year-old, so they make a 8-year, 12-year, 16-year. So this 9-year was special. So when I found it, and I found it at a discounted rate, I thought I should get it. And we compare it with the gold standard, their most appreciated whiskey, like I said, Lagavulin 16. This is not my bottle, my friend's bottle. You should have good friends who allow you to open a brand new bottle. They give it to you for doing a review, or maybe drink the bottle, I don't know, maybe not. If he's watching, he will not appreciate it. So I think I'll give it back. But let's check and see if I can find the difference between 9 versus 16. Is it worth paying that extra money for 16? This is a question a lot of my friends ask. Is it a hoax? Why do they charge? Is it just marketing? We'll find out. Some people say the complexity increases. Who knows? Does the peatiness get better? Does it get worse? We'll find out. Let's open the Lagavulin 9, the Game of Thrones edition, and pour a little dram, and we'll compare it to the 16. It's a beautiful bottle. Again, the roaring lion right there. So Diageo also made different, I had different distilleries do it for the different Game of Thrones houses. So they had Cardew, Dalwhinnie, Singleton, Kleinish, Royal Lochnagar, I've never even heard of it, Talisker and Oban do the other houses. They say every whiskey is a characteristic of the house, so let's test it out. Let's pour a little dram of the 9. This is fun, you get to drink while talking to you. They say they add color, so we'll not compare the color. It's surprising, the world's most popular whiskey, they still add color. At least that's what I've heard or read. Let's open the 16. This is also a very beautiful bottle for the people who drink. They'll love this bottle. Let's open it up. Let's pour a dram. It's not a blind tasting, as you can see. I'm not a whiskey expert to know the difference. Color wise, I think 16 is a little darker than 9. But again, since they add color, it's very hard to say. So let's try the 9-year first and then go to the 16. You definitely get that peatiness and smoke. But I've had Lagavulin 16 before. It's definitely lesser of that smoke. Or maybe it's just a neck pour and it has to open up a little. But it has little sweetness, like honey notes. Let's taste it. Cheers. Definitely that peatiness, the smokiness, but like I said, the sweetness is there and gets a little spicy at the end. Very black pepperish, a lot of black pepper, but pretty long finish, pretty decent. Let's take another sip. Does have some heat, but still pretty smooth for a 9-year-old. Like both have, I believe, are in ex-bourbon barrels, so it's not bad at all for a 9-year-old. I think it's tastes pretty darn good. Let's drink a sip of water. Okay, now let's try the Lagavulin 16. Cheers. It does have that peatiness, but it's actually lesser than here. Here it was just blowing it away. Here there's much more happening. There's the honey notes, the oak notes, the woody notes, which was, I think, a little missing in the 9, but both of them, to be honest, have a great nose for sure. So let's taste this. Cheers. Yeah, definitely the finish is very different. Still there is the peatiness and the smoke, but at the end that spiciness which was in the 9 with the black pepper is not here, and just the finish is much more smoother, I would say, and there's much more happening, which is why people say it's a complex whiskey and you can still explore the flavors. And a little more viscous also, I think, so it has that oily mouth feel to it. So that's why I think 16 is definitely a beautiful whiskey. Very woody, to be honest. Now if I go in front of my wife, she'll be like, were you in the forest? It smells like trees, hay. But if I had to recommend someone to get into Islay type scotches which are more peaty and smoky, I would actually go for the 9-year-old, because it's much more approachable, much more easier, and the finish is not just smoke, it has that pepper, and it's just a milder version of the 16, I would say. And the 16 has much more smokiness, and the end it's a lot of things happening, which is wonderful for folks who want to appreciate it. But at the end, I think this 9-year pick for me was not bad at all. I'm going to enjoy it. If I had to choose a winner, it would definitely be 16, but I would not be disappointed with a 9 at all. So take my word with a grain of salt, Himalayan salt, pink salt, I don't know, some salt, but at the end, 16, like everyone says, worth the price for the folks who like Islay Scotch. But if you get 9, even though it's a limited edition, it is a good whiskey. It's not just because of the Game of Thrones. I feel it's a good whiskey, and that's what I've read before buying the bottle. I read a few reviews as well, and everybody said that they have done a pretty good job, and hope that this becomes like a regular 9-year-old expression. So it gets better reviews than the 8-year-old, so not a bad whiskey at all. That's all for today's episode. If you like this video, do subscribe, comment if you have had any of this, and what's your favorite Lagavulin expression. Drink responsibly. Until next time, Sumit from Madeira Diaries.